And let's cross over to Fawaz Gerges. He's a professor of Middle East politics and international relations at the London School of Economics and joins us now live from London. Good to have you with us. Let's put that question to you. What next for the international community?
I think what you've seen today is a final rupture between the United States and Syria, between the European community and Syria, between the leading Western states, France, Germany and Britain with Syria. And I think what you're going to see in the next few days is that both Turkey and Saudi Arabia and some of the Gulf countries joining this particular coalition. Sami, as you well know, the Obama administration has been debating the idea of President Assad stepping down for the last few weeks. This is not just new. And the idea was they decided on a strategy to establish a broad-based coalition, leading regional states and European states, in order to complete the isolation of the Assad regime. What you have seen today is really a broadly based coalition emerging, not only the United States, but at the same time, France, Germany, and Britain and the European Union joining this particular coalition, applying very stringent, very powerful sanctions, and this is oil sanctions, economic sanctions. The idea is to starve the Syrian government. And I think we should keep our eyes and ears open to what Turkey is going to do in the next 48 hours and Saudi Arabia, because the idea is to basically bring about a coalition of forces, in particular leading regional powers and Western powers, and basically try to isolate the Assad regime. So it's really now, it's all-out war against the Syrian government.
But will it be enough, Fawaz? We know that the US and the EU are heading in that direction. We've heard about that meeting that's coming in Geneva to put forward a new UN move backed by 4 Arab countries. You said let's watch what Turkey will do. Let's not forget, though, there's Russia and China. Can progress be made? I think in the meeting that's supposed to be held in about 4 hours from now in the UN Security Council, unless we have Russia and China on board.
Well, it's more than that. Let me be blunt here. Also, you're going to have the Secretary General of the United Nations calling on the Security Council to take President Assad to the International Criminal Court. This is a major, major step, escalation. I think it would be extremely, I suppose, simplistic to say that this new coalition, both international and regional, will have an immediate impact on Syria. Syria is not Libya. Syria is not Yemen. And I think what you've seen in Syria in the last few months is that President Assad is hunkering down. He is really going for broke. This is all-out war. He's fighting for his survival. And as long as Iran, in terms of economic and political support, I think what you're going to see, unfortunately, was really, I say it with a heavy heart, you're going to see escalation, escalation, and escalation. Not only political and economic escalation, but military escalation as well in the next few weeks in Syria. I think the Syrian regime will fight to the bitter end, make no doubt about it. This is not about a few weeks or a few months. This is a deeply entrenched regime. It has a powerful power base in Syria. It has a very lethal military machine. It has the will and the determination, as we have seen in the last few weeks, to fight. So, in fact, what we're going to see, not de-escalation, but rather escalation, because now the Syrian regime has no other option. This is really war. It's all-out war, and that's the next few days and next few weeks are truly very tragic for the Syrian people and Syria.
How key is the US targeting now of the Syrian petroleum industry?
Very key. Remember, Syria has two major sources of income: tourism, in terms of foreign currency, and oil. Tourism is no longer because of the political turmoil. And Syria exports about 400,000 barrels of oil every day. The 400,000 barrels of oil are basically the lifeline, not only of the government, but also the military and the power elite in Syria. If the United States, as it says, it will try to shut the tap on Syrian oil, this will have a huge bite, a greater bite, a bigger bite on the Syrian economy. Remember, the reason why the Syrian regime has been deeply entrenched, because the silent majority in Syria, there's a silent majority that has not actively joined the protesters. In particular, in Aleppo and Damascus, you have 50% of the Syrian population live in two cities, and the two cities have not actively joined the protest. if the economic situation deteriorates further, if the economic sanctions take a huge bite of the middle class and the upper middle class and the business class, you might see the silent majority throwing its lot with the protesters. And here you might have the balance of power being tipped inside Syria itself. So the economic sanctions, and particularly the economic sanctions, are real, are serious, because they go to the very heart, not only harming the lifeline of the Syrian government, but also probably tipping the balance of power, the social balance of power within the various communities in Syria.